here, and we're back to give you another Central Coast market update. Darryl is here joining us.
Hello, everybody.
And has a few topics that he'd like to share with all of us. Thank you all for tuning in, and thank you, Darryl, for being here with us again. Before we have you share your updates, we'll give you a quick snapshot of the SLO County real estate market by sharing last month's residential stats from the California Regional MLS. Jen, take it away.
Okay. April of 2023 shows that the median price jumped from $807 last month all the way up to $851 in April. So that is great news.
Big jump.
Yeah, great news for sellers out there. This is the second month in a row that we have seen a significant increase. So cheers to that, you guys.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Our market is definitely heating up. This is the highest we have seen our market since the peak of last May. Months of inventory last month was just under 4, which is a little bit lower than what we had back in March. It was right about 5. The number of sales dipped a little from 203 in March down to 177 in April. We only had 216 new listings, so the low inventory is keeping our number of closings lower than usual. There are currently 335 properties under contract, so we should definitely see closings in May over 200. Days to sell was at 44, which not much has changed there. Last month it was at 43.
Okay, Jen, that's great news about the median price.
Yes.
I saw an article recently that said the Central Coast and the Bay Area were the top 2 areas where the prices were still increasing. We are still seeing multiple offers. Our team listing recently had 7 offers, which were all over asking.
Yes,
Pretty
great.
amazing.
That was a great listing. I live in that neighborhood and had the pleasure of seeing it. That was a cool house. I would have lived there.
Me too.
Buyers are out in full force. Buyers, remember to marry the house and date the rate. Darryl, what are you seeing on your end?
Boy, like you, I'm seeing a market that's ever-changing. Multiple offers and that type of thing are still quite common because the inventory is so tight. Right now, it does not benefit investment properties and second home purchases. Who it does benefit would be first-time home buyers.
Okay.
And especially those that fit within the income bracket of maybe $139,000 or less. And it can affect purchase prices up to probably $800,000, maybe
Wow.
more, within our county in San Luis Obispo
It's crazy
County.
to think that's a first-time home buyer budget.
It could, and again, it doesn't mean that they'll spend that much,
Yeah.
but they could. And there's so many variables depending upon the amount of the down payment and how much debt they carry. With new updates in our industry, we have to be especially careful with the loan packages that we work on and just to, wherever we can, to be able to get a complete loan package up front to help us in the way that we look at that loan and quote the rates.
So Darryl, what do we need to know about the new loan level price adjustments that are being talked about?
Gotcha. Well, that's a hot topic right now, and this has to do with any mortgage banker or broker out there in this environment. Well, they're pretty important these days because they pertain to conventional loans. And they affect pricing on loans. In a lot of ways, the pricing has gone up on conventional loans. The way that pricing is calculated is different now. That we have to look at and put it through. We have to take the loan application, run the credit report, put it through a pricing engine. In a way, we're going old school on some of these in terms of getting our verifications of employment up front because the debt-to-income ratios can also affect the pricing. And if their debt-to-income ratios are under 40%, then the loan will price a little better. If it's higher than that, it can cost more. And if we're within certain tiers, there's actually a benefit. There's an enhancement. The loan level pricing adjustments are important because typically the safer the risk, the better the price on a loan. For the most part, that is still true, but in some cases, it's different. There's some unique features to these loan level pricing adjustments where there actually is some enhancement to a first-time home buyer that might have a FICO score lower than 660. And for those that might be in the 680 credit score tier up to, let's say, 760, which traditionally is a very good credit score, some of them might actually be paying more these days. So you have to be a first-time home buyer within the state of California, which means that you've not owned a home within the last 3 years, and there can be some additional benefits.
Great.
In some areas, it's an attempt by the federal government to slow up what has been a very hot housing market, including properties that are purchased for investment and second home. But what they're trying to do is also provide some additional opportunity to those that might be in the lower credit tier to give them a more competitive edge. What's interesting is while the cost of business has gone up for conventional loans, we've actually seen it go down on some of the governmental loans, including FHA. So what's happening is FHA is moving into that space to help some of these buyers that have an adverse impact from this. I wouldn't be surprised that you're going to begin to see more FHA offers for that reason.
That makes sense.
For people that might have, let's say, a 10% down payment and good credit that might normally go for a conventional loan are going into the FHA space because FHA loans are government subsidized. So if the typical rate on a conventional loan might be, let's say, in the 6.5% range for something like that, conversely, they can get an FHA loan for 5.5%.
Okay. So would they be paying mortgage insurance on something like that?
Yes, they would. I mean, the FHA loan always has MI. What HUD has done with FHA loans is they've rolled back the pricing on that by 30 basis points. So very recently, that FHA loan has become much more affordable, and it comes now at a lower rate. Here again, that's where we have to pencil them out and compare, get the feedback from the client to see what's best for them.
So just talking about rates, what are the rates looking like right now? Yeah,
they change daily, even hourly in some cases. For now, they're for the most part in the 6.5% range. I'd say most rates are in about the 6.25 up to about 7.25 range. Again, you pay more for an investment property or second home. You know, the additional points involved with those loans right now is pretty steep, and the way that you can offset that heftier pricing is to come in with a bigger down payment. In some cases, like 40% down to avoid those steep pricing hits. But what we expect, the rates tend to follow the inflation figures, and the inflation figures are coming down a bit. So as we continue to get good news about inflation, we're going to get better news about mortgage rates.
That's great news.
I would just add that, again, it's a very competitive environment out there, so for any buyer, talk to your lender, and just the better prepared that you are, the better you're going to compete in this environment. And it really helps to have a fallback plan, different options that if you need to beef up your offer with additional down payment, whether you have gift funds or having the potential to borrow from a 401k, that helps in some cases. In other properties, maybe there's a little less competition. There might still be room to negotiate. We're still seeing multiple offers on just about every offer that I saw submitted last week.
Definitely.
Is there anything else that you want to add to let our listeners know about?
Yes, we use the loan application as a roadmap, and that way we can make recommendations from a long list of products to help your buyers better compete in this environment. It's just nice to know what they have to work with, and if there's any soft spots on that loan, then we'll help to prepare them, help them to boost their credit scores and that type of thing. You know, some cases, I mentioned how it's more expensive to purchase an investment property or a second home. Sometimes I'll talk to a client and they'll come to see me, we're looking for a mortgage on a second home. And I talked to a client recently that's looking to buy a home up at the lake, and they have a home in Redondo Beach that's just about free and clear. When we penciled it out, it's cheaper for them to do a cash out refi on their home in Redondo Beach, and then they can make an offer all cash on the property here at the lake. And so again, having the loan application and the complete package enables us to better do our job. With a little bit of planning, I think the experience is better for everyone that way.
I agree.
At least you go into it knowing all your options.
Exactly. And there's more than one way to skin a cat, so to speak. Be able to have that discussion with the client and do some planning going in, and they're going to compete better that way.
I agree. Well, thank you so much, Darryl, for that great info.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Of course. Our market continues to heat up. It is definitely a great time for all of you sellers out there, but buyers, there are still a lot of great opportunities for you as well. Thank you all so much for tuning in. If you are thinking about relocating to Paso Robles or the Central Coast, please download your free relocation guide in the link below.
So Jen and I just finished a fun Mother's Day video on multiple events occurring in Paso and throughout San Luis Obispo County that we'd love for you to check out.
Thank you to all the moms out there. We salute you.
Yes, cheers.
We also have the Cons of Paso Robles video coming out soon, so stay tuned for that. We will see you again next month for another market update.
Cheers.
Cheers.